Let me tell you how the HOA president rode up to my gate one morning like she owned the whole neighborhood. No, really, like she was surveying her kingdom, all straight-backed and smug, perched up on this beautiful chestnut horse, until suddenly the animal let out a terrified whinny and bucked her off so fast it looked like a stunt from some low-budget western. I barely had time to blink before she was already on her phone, tears streaming, screaming to the cops that my mailbox was a public safety hazard threatening the entire community. I thought it was just another day with Victoria Ashworth, our resident dictator in pearls, but what she did later that night, and what my security camera picked up, well, it made my blood run cold, not so much for me, but honestly for her. Because after that, her life unraveled in a way you wouldn't believe. Cops didn't just take her home, they hauled her straight to a psychiatric ward. Now, if you're listening, buckle up, because 8 months ago I never pictured myself fighting a one-woman war against an HOA president. I'm Marcus Holloway. After losing my wife Sarah in a car accident, I moved here to Willowbrook Estates with my 7-year-old daughter Emma, looking for some kind of fresh start. Sarah was a brilliant attorney who always said every detail mattered, and sometimes the ugliest truths hid behind the prettiest faces. Maybe I should have remembered that sooner. The whole thing started on a crisp October morning. I was out fixing the mailbox, wind had knocked it off center. Emma was inside getting ready for school. I hear horse hooves on the street, look up, and here comes Victoria, all proper and magazine-worthy in her English riding gear, sitting like she's at a royal parade, not patrolling a bunch of tired houses in suburban Ohio. She calls out in that voice, "Rich people save, for when they're about to tell you how you screwed up, Mr. Holloway, I need to speak with you about your mailbox placement. HOA regs say 18 inches from the curb. Yours is 21. I measured the thing last week, knew it was right, but I wasn't looking to argue with the woman who controlled whether my grass was too long or my Christmas lights stayed up too late. But it wasn't me that got her riled up, it was the horse. Duchess started prancing sideways, snorting like something had spooked her real bad, and you didn't have to be a cowboy to know she was seconds away from bolting. "Steady, Duchess, steady." Victoria was muttering, but her fancy act was slipping, and Duchess, well, she just lost it. Threw Victoria right off, sent her sprawling across my driveway, helmet cracking hard on the asphalt. But here's what got me. She jumped right to her phone, totally calm voice, steady as a surgeon. 911. I need police and ambulance at 1247 Maple Street. I've been injured due to a neighborhood hazard, need to file a report. Not a flicker of confusion, like she'd rehearsed this in the mirror a dozen times. I knelt beside her, asked if she was hurt, maybe she needed Jake, our neighbor, who's a vet, and good with first aid, but she just waved me away. The resident has created an unsafe condition with an improperly installed mailbox that spooked my horse, she told the dispatcher, already building a narrative where I'm the villain. Jake jogged over, took one look at Duchess, still trembling way down the block, and said, "That's not normal." Duchess is the calmest horse in the county. Something spooked her. 10 minutes later, Detective Patterson showed up. Old school, takes nothing at face value. Victoria starts in with a story, says I was hostile, aggressive, refused to follow HOA rules, even made verbal threats. None of that happened, but she was so convincing I almost doubted myself. Patterson, though, asked to see my security footage. I'd installed cameras after moving in just to keep an eye out, you know. He took notes, told me he'd follow up, then watched Victoria get carted off in the ambulance with a look that was almost satisfied. That night I replayed the footage, wanted to see for myself. Duchess, as they near my mailbox, gets more and more anxious, then just explodes. But what got my attention was Victoria's weird calm after hitting the ground. Next morning, Detective Patterson came by with coffee and a hunch. Something doesn't add up. Mind if we go through that security footage? We did over and over until Patterson said, "Pause it, run it back. What's that on the mailbox?" Sure enough, after a close look outside, tucked away in the back of the mailbox, he finds a tiny electronic device blinking with an antenna. "This is a high-frequency transmitter," he said, looking grim. "It's been broadcasting since at least yesterday." I felt sick. Someone planted that thing, not just to spy, but to mess with animals. Crime scene tech confirmed it was the kind used in illegal animal control ops triggers, panic in horses. I fast-forwarded through old footage, and there, 3 nights back, someone in dark clothes, small flashlight, fiddling at my mailbox. Tall, limps a little, just like Victoria after she dismounted. It was her, no question. Things just kept getting weirder. Victoria's official police report was full of lies, said I was threatening, unhinged, everything the footage contradicted. Detective Patterson pieced it together. This isn't some HOA spat. She planned the whole thing. The question is why. Then out of nowhere, Emma comes in, little voice trembling. Is that policeman here because of the scary lady? Patterson crouched down, talked to her straight. Emma told him Victoria had been asking her about Sarah's things, the jewelry box, family photos. Said she once had a little boy, missed him very much. Suddenly it hit us. This wasn't random. She was obsessed with families like mine. That evening, Jake turned up at my door, laptop open. Marcus, that device Patterson found, it's broadcasting at exactly the frequency to drive horses insane. There are patents for it, agricultural tech, but also weaponized for animal torture. Someone like Victoria would know how to use it. Then, like fate, the neighborhood Facebook group started blowing up. Someone had live-streamed Victoria's emergency HOA meeting. She was up front warning everyone about me, painting me as a threat. But the crowd wasn't buying it. Margaret O'Brien, our oldest neighbor, stood up and said, "Marcus is nothing but kind. I watched the whole thing yesterday. Your story doesn't match what I saw." Then Tom Richards, software guy, projected 911. "Call logs, Victoria. You called 911 5 minutes before your horse threw you. How'd you know you were about to get hurt?" Her story crumbled. The community turned. Even a local therapist offered to mediate. Neighbors volunteered help. The mask had fallen off, but Patterson was just getting started. He brought Dr. Sarah Chen, a specialist in grief trauma, and together they dug into Victoria's past. Turns out she'd lost her teenage son in a horse accident 3 years ago. Dr. Chen explained that Victoria was caught in complicated grief, reliving her trauma by targeting families like mine, sometimes trying to fix what went wrong with her son by controlling other people's kids. Things escalated fast. Neighbors shared stories about pets getting sick, mysterious break-ins, harassment. Maggie O'Brien revealed she'd been keeping a log for years. Victoria had master keys to every house, had entered homes stolen, little things left. Families feeling violated but never able to prove it. Emma tugged my sleeve, whispered, "Dad." She took Mom's bracelet. I saw her wearing it. Maggie nodded. Victoria collected trophies from families just like she collected pets. That night my phone buzzed. "Check your basement. She's been busy." Downstairs I found a hidden box filled with photos, Emma playing Sarah's car, other families' kids all taken secretly, plus a journal with creepy entries about our daily life. I called Patterson. He rushed over with Dr. Chen and the tech team. They found evidence. Victoria had been breaking in, documenting everything. When officers searched her property, they found a pet cemetery in her yard, 12 graves each marked with a cross. Duchess, the Pattersons' dog, the Rodriguez's cat, all the pets that had mysteriously died. And in Victoria's basement, a trophy room, kids' drawings, jewelry, toys, each labeled. The centerpiece was a shelf dedicated to my family, Sarah's bracelet, wedding photos, even a dress like Sarah's resized to fit Victoria. She'd been planning to step into my life, make Emma her daughter. Then came the worst part. Victoria disappeared. Her trailer gone. Left a text. "You took my son, now I'll take yours." Emma looks so peaceful when she sleeps. I panicked, called Jake. Emma was safe at his house, but it was clear Victoria had a head start. Blackwood, Victoria's lawyer, showed up and revealed she'd asked him to draft custody documents for Emma. She planned to argue I was unfit, make Emma her own, leave her entire estate to my daughter. He handed us emails from a supposed grief counselor who turns out never existed. Either Victoria had created an alter ego, or she was being manipulated. Suddenly, Emma remembered a story Victoria had talked about, a special place by a lake, a cabin where wishes come true. Emma drew a map. Patterson led the team to Lake Serenity, a remote spot 40 miles out. There we found Victoria dressed in a white gown, living in a shrine to her son, talking to his picture by a campfire, waiting for Emma. Dr. Chen gently coaxed her to confess. Victoria finally admitted she'd tried to teach her son about safety, but it went horribly wrong. She broke down the truth out at last. Victoria was taken in, peacefully sent to treatment instead of jail, thanks to Dr. Chen's advocacy. She wrote us later from the facility, genuinely sorry, trying to heal. The neighborhood rallied, set up new support systems for struggling families, and for the first time I felt like we belonged. A year later, Dr. Chen and I married in our backyard. Even Victoria joined via video call, wishing us peace. The lesson: Sometimes the scariest people are just the ones whose pain is too big for them to handle. Healing isn't about control or punishment, it's about compassion and the support of a good community. So if you've made it this far, what do you think is justice about punishment or about helping people find their way back from the brink? Let me know your take, because honestly, we all live in someone's neighborhood, and sometimes the biggest battles are happening right next door.